Today on The State of Us, how to like annoying people and young people enrolling in AARP. Welcome to The State of Us. I'm your host, Justin T. Weller, joined today by the one and only, your friendly redneck liberal and the senior resident historian here at True Chat, Mr. Lance Jackson. Today, we're looking at an so very important topic, one that I think, Lance, everybody could probably use some help with. Even irritating folks usually have redeeming qualities. Let's talk about some tips for uncovering them. Have you ever met anybody that's, a little irritating in your life, Lance?
No, I love people.
Okay.
Yeah, people are
You really feed off of the energy of spending time around.
I do. I just enjoy them immensely.
For those that don't know, our friendly redneck liberal, despite having been an educator for many years, is in fact an introvert and is not a terribly big fan of spending time around lots of people.
I enjoy spending time with children and helping them to open their minds to what's going on in the world. I have a hard time with adults who say they're in it for the children and then make policy that continues to hurt the growth and ability of children to function.
So one thing to start with is, what makes a people annoying to us, right? And maybe the better question is, well, people that are annoying are people that we don't like. Okay, well, who are people that we like?
I don't know. I didn't really read this article, so I'm gonna take a guess here. Are the people who annoy us people who do things that we don't like? or is it people who do things like us and we get upset with them because they're challenging our space?
Could it be both?
I'm asking. It could be. And I'm asking because I didn't really read this article closely. I pulled it out, read the headline and thought, oh, this might be fun to do one day, and who hasn't met somebody who annoys them? And if nobody annoys you, are you that annoying person? Is that one thing, if 1 out of 3 people in the room are annoying and nobody in the room is annoying to you, are you the annoying person? I know I annoy people.
No.
I do.
No.
Sometimes I have
never.
Sometimes I do it on purpose. I enjoy. I figure out what I can do to annoy them. Is that the kind of annoying person you're asking about?
Well,
are these people that are just generally trying to be themselves and they just come across as annoying? Or are you talking about me when
it could be all of the above.
When I try to poke the bear on purpose?
So the first thing that the article looks to talk about, right, is the question of what actually makes us like somebody, because the opposite of liking somebody would be to not like them, right? And if you don't like somebody, you're more likely to find them annoying because it's
the opposite of annoying is enjoying, right? The antonym of
yes. Or soothing.
Okay.
So we often
I am in all meetings.
Yeah.
I'm so soothing to everybody else in the room.
Yes. And you never have a pained look on your face that you're being made to sit through a meeting.
No, I enjoy meetings with other people.
Enjoy meetings. You like meetings that only involve you.
Some of the best thoughts, some of the best discussions I've ever had are in a room by myself.
We often think that shared similarities are what bond us. Think of things like matched hobbies or interests, living in the same neighborhood, or having children that are of a similar age. It could be watching a TV show, food, whatever. But we can have lots in common and still dislike someone. Interestingly enough, Lance, we've paid big money to a professor of psychological science at the Department of Psychology at the University of Vermont, who studied low isolation and connection to determine what makes us like somebody. Research has actually shown that what actually makes us like a person and helps us bond is sharing an experience and feeling that we're having the same response to an experience. So, in fact, psychologists call this the I-sharing effect. I as in I get you, because we shared an experience.
I see.
So, in other words, the example that they use is there was this lovely lady named Carla, and she says that she disliked her coworker, Ben, from the minute that she met him, bristling at his close-minded views and habit of swiping her newspaper. Don't be swiping my newspaper. That's no good. For months, they bickered.
Don't fold Justin's newspaper.
No.
He gets mad when you fold it.
Fold it the wrong way.
Aha. Okay. I've learned that the hard way, folks, because I fold a newspaper and just is like, oh, somebody folded a newspaper.
Hey, I've started doing that now. I'd like to point out I ripped the newspaper on the show that we just recorded recently so I could give half of it to you.
I'm wearing off on you.
It's a sin. So anyway.
So what's the matter with Carla here?
Yeah, for months, Carla and Ben, they bickered. And Carla would go outside to take walks just to calm down. I mean, that's how serious this was. They were not getting along. Then one day, Ben asked her about a favorite book that she kept on her desk. Miss Carla lent it to him, and when he returned it, he told her he loved it. She said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that we had a similar experience." So Carla is a 78-year-old artist, says she came around to Ben after she got to know and understand him better.
Uh-huh.
Now the two have been married for 28 years.
The book brought them together.
I got so mad with him, I had to go outside and walk off to blow off steam. And then we read the book, and now we're married. Gotcha. For 28 years, we've been married.
Okay.
That sounds, that sounds familiar.
Yes.
It is interesting, though, isn't it? Because some of the relationships that work best in life are relationships with people who we are not, in fact, super similar to. Exactly. They're people that we actually have a lot of differences with.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we don't get along with people that have similarities.
But it doesn't mean we don't have shared experiences. Back to the point of the study in the article. Just because the personality of the person we've chosen to be with is different than ours, and that they don't do things that get under our skin, the cohesiveness, the glue that keeps us together are those shared experiences that we've had.
And relating in the moment is very powerful, according to the researcher. You feel like you're in sync or on the same wavelength as somebody else. And they take this further to say, because this isn't just necessarily a romantic thing, right? This is just with anybody. Think of cheering on your favorite team with coworkers, singing along to a favorite song with your sister in the car, and laughing or cringing at the same jokes with friends when you're at a comedy show. This is a big thing that I spent time on when, I was researching personalities and understanding, trying to better understand how people's personality works. A lot of people tend to immediately assume that everything that somebody does is conscious or on purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Like, in other words, they moved the butter down to the other shelf, or they put the milk in the door, and they know that I hate that, and they did that because they wanted to make me mad, and it's like, well, probably not. I mean, yes, there are times where Lance was being ornery, right? And he moved the damn, milk into the fridge because he knew that was going to upset his wife. But generally, that's not why you do it. You do it because that's what you've always done. And, you didn't even think about it. It's just force of habit. And you had no idea that you just really peeved off somebody else. Like Lance folding the newspaper. He had no idea that just made Justin
been folding newspapers longer
skin.
Than Justin's been alive,
right.
Much less.
He wasn't doing it on purpose. Now he does it on purpose, but he wasn't doing it on purpose. Right.
Now that I know it bothers you, I do it all the time.
Right, yeah.
Even when I don't need to.
And that goes back to, this is annoying. So apparently what we're learning from this is that Justin likes to spend time around people that he finds annoying. So read into that what you may. But the point being...
No, we've had shared experiences.
We've had shared experiences. That's right. Shared annoyance.
So we get past the annoyances.
Yes.
Because we have that bond
right
from that shared experience that we had.
But I thought that was really insightful because, I do think that if you ask, well, why do you like somebody? Well, because we have this, and this in common. That's what we tend to go to, right? And what psychologists are telling us is that's really not actually the motivating factor. That's kind of like a side effect of the motivating factor, which is going through an experience and having a similar reaction, which is why we can like people who we don't have much in common with, because if we both go through something, like, for example, we both ended up reading the same book and we felt the same way about it. Not, we read the same book, because it can also be very frustrating if two people read the same book and one person said, oh, the book was awesome, I love these 3 things about it. And you're like, I hated those things about it. I love the book too, but I hate that.
Or I read the book and this is what I got out of it. And somebody else reads this. No, I got this out of it.
Right.
It's like, well, you're a moron.
Yeah. Well, how do that's not the same book,
Right. But think about it. That's why I'm sitting here thinking, and you and your husband enjoy music and going to the theater, but that's a shared experience. And you're sitting there, most likely the majority of the people there are enjoying the theater as well, which means you have a whole room full of people that you can talk to before the show, intermission, after the show. You're walking out, you don't know them, but you like them automatically because they're there. They took time on their
and they
Saturday afternoon and their money to watch it. Just like I go to the ballpark and I can sit and talk to people that I would never talk to because, hey, they're at the ballpark and they're rooting for the same team.
They can't be that bad
that I'm rooting for, so they're not that bad.
Right.
But if they're wearing a different colored jersey than my team, well, I'm not even talking to them because everything they do for the entire game
make you upset.
Drives me crazy.
Even if they do things that are the same that you're doing.
Same thing that I'm doing. Right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But what you've just said is that explains why we do those things, is because we're sharing the same experience with people. We're rooting for the same thing or enjoying the same thing. So therefore we automatically feel closer to them.
Exactly. So let's talk about then, with that knowledge, right, of why do we like people, what do we do about the people we don't like? How do we
give them a book?
Apparently, right? Well, that's in line with that other show that we recorded not that long ago. Just books will solve it all. Just give people books. Right. Or newspapers, or both, preferably. So we're going to talk about 4 things that you can do that will help you like people that you find annoying. And I want to revise that because, I know our title today is 4 ways to like annoying people. Being annoying, remember, is a matter of perspective. You may find somebody annoying. There may be 100 people that don't find that person annoying.
That is so true.
And that person that you find annoying may find you annoying. So just a little tidbit there as we transition to the next segment of annoying people, maybe people we find annoying
is a better way of putting it. I agree.
Keep it here on The State of Us. We'll be right back. A study that was published in March of this year showed that having such experiences where we feel we have a shared response make Biden and Trump supporters like each other more. That's actually how they did this research. Is they started out
that was their group,
pre-qualifying people of hardcore Trump, hardcore Biden supporters. Now, these people didn't know going in that the other people were like that, but that's what they started with because they wanted to find people that generally we would all think, they can't get along. You don't need to like everyone. Some people are best avoided, especially if they make you feel unsafe emotionally or physically. But there are some science-backed strategies for learning to like someone who annoys you. Again, notice the phrasing there. Not annoying people, but someone who annoys you
personally. There are some things you can do.
Yes. First up, give them a second chance. Make it a goal to get to know the person better. Look for one thing you like and focus on that, suggests a licensed psychologist in Charleston, South Carolina, and author of the book Psychological Secrets for Emotional Success. Is the person kind or a good parent or eager to help others? Start there. Every time you feel yourself getting annoyed, focus on your goal of connecting and remind yourself of the thing that you like about the person. When you start to see someone as human, that softens you, and you'll start to find more things that you like.
Okay, what if you do that and you don't find anything that you like about them? Does it give you something else to go? If you can't do that, are the other 3 reasons out the window, or do I still have a chance if I can't do the first one there?
So one problem here, folks, is in talking about this, I'm not going to be very valuable with this because there's a lot of good and bad things about my personality, but what I have learned over the years, I have an incredibly high degree of empathy, and I'll even take other people's emotions on my own. And there are a lot of unhealthy things about that. But just the point being that because I do that, I have a very hard time, even with people who have really wronged me, at hating them for very long.
I know. That's why you keep me around, because I keep it in perspective for you. Like, Justin, we don't like this person, remember? Because they did this, and this.
Right. God, I forgot about that.
And I look at you with this gawked amazement, like, really? You said hello to that person? Are you kidding me? I'm throwing all the daggers with my eyes I can. You being the nice one and me being the one.
I have seen you do it with certain people, because you've said, they'll do something that annoys you, but they have the right intentions, and I know they're there for the right reason.
There
and
is
they're trying to do the right
value,
thing.
Yes.
And what happens? You can keep showing up.
It is a conscious effort on my part to keep in mind that they mean well, even though I disagree with their actions or I disagree with their comments, that I know I have to consciously think their intentions are well-meaning. Okay, so I do number one. I find some social redeeming value, and I continue to remind myself. Where do I go from there?
Watch how you act. Start with.
Is this like self-analysis? Are you? Do you have me down on
I'm just reading what the paper says.
Do you want me to go lay down on the couch over here in the studio and you Dr. Freud me here?
Yeah.
Psychoanalyze me?
So it recommends starting with empathy. Maybe the person's behavior reflects stress or disappointment about which you know nothing. We feel more connected to others when we're compassionate. We also feel less resentment and anger.
So you have some social redeeming value. I know why you're stupid, and so I'm going to like you anyway.
Maybe it annoys you that this person has such proper manners. Like, you've gone to lunch with them a number of times, and it's like, man, we're eating fast food. Like, you don't need to, why is that napkin on your lap, and why are you sitting upright? And don't cut your freaking hamburger with a, fork and knife. Gosh darn it, that,
You mean a spork?
Yeah, spork, damn spork, like, I don't even get the spork because I don't want to use it because it upsets me that much, because, like, this is fast food. It's not meant to be nice. So, like, that's where your mind's at. But then what if you found out, right, this person that, why am I so stuck up, and then you find out that, well, the reason is because, their mother swatted their wrist every time that they didn't put their napkin on their lap or use their silverware or touched food with their hands.
So they got mommy issues? Is that what you're telling me?
Right, but I'm saying you find that out, right? And now it's like, oh, well.
I'm like, man, that's 30 years ago. Get over it. That's not very empathetic, though, is it?
That's not terribly empathetic, no. But,
okay.
Spend real time together. So how do we build empathy? Oh, we got to spend time with them. We got to spend time with them.
But these people drive me crazy. I'm supposed to spend time with people who drive me crazy?
Occasional small talk won't cut it, psychologists say. You need to spend enough time together to get to know the person. Move beyond the forced time together, say at work, and invite the person to hang out. People love an invite because it makes them feel appreciated. This makes them like the person who did the inviting more, and if they like you more, they're more likely to reciprocate. So basically, I'm reading into this here and also being a little facetious. We should bribe people to being less annoying, because if we're nice to them, this is that age-old adage of, oh man, this it gets on me so much, Lance, right? When the students at the youth center say, well, they weren't nice to me, so I'm not going to be nice to them. I hear you, but nobody's ever going to be nice if somebody's not the first person to be nice. I mean, that's my first grade teacher coming through here with their, the golden rule thing. Well, they treated me bad, so I'm going to treat them bad. Well, that is an approach that we can take. But if we take the high road, there is a chance, not necessarily a good one, but a chance that maybe they'll decide to do the same.
So is the fourth thing, if you've tried 1, 2, and 3, just avoid them altogether? I'm failing this quiz big time.
It's not going well.
Not going well for me.
Well, it's not supposed to be a quiz, but I guess you won't be spending a lot of high quality time with the person who wrote the article. Choose a bonding activity. Start with an activity that you both enjoy.
Oh, wait a minute. Look.
What?
People.
Run.
Yep. Okay. So all right. So I got it. I'm supposed to find something good about them.
Start with
I'm supposed to get to know them.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to invite them somewhere.
And where should you invite them? Choose an activity like a concert or game or share a pizza that you know you both like.
And I know that because I've gotten to know them. Oh, okay. All right.
And this is also do a little deductive reasoning. If you see him wearing a sports jersey, right? Like if you were trying to do this with Lance, like, man, he gets on my nerves, well, you've probably seen him wearing a freaking Cardinals shirt at some point, So if you were somebody you really didn't like and you bought him tickets to behind home plate to go with you to a Cardinals game, man, that'd be pretty hard. That you'd really be tugging at some, you'd be building some empathy there, really improving that tolerance. I'm like, well, man, they're pretty bad, but they can't be that bad.
How many beers go with it?
Free drinks for the whole game. Is
it all you can eat and drink seats?
Yeah. Now, if you feed him too, whoa, you've won. We should call up your wife and say, so is that the secret? Is that what we learned? If you feed him and let him watch his baseball,
I am not a complex person. Everybody thinks I am.
It's really easy to get on.
Leave me alone. Let me watch the game and give me something to eat. We get along fine.
Which would explain why you can get along well with the people at the ballpark, right? Because it's like, I don't freaking care what you do outside of here. We're here together for the same damn reason.
And rooting for the same people.
And we're both eating, so like this.
No, in all seriousness, it makes sense, right? I mean, that is what you should do. And would your life be less stressful if you did those things?
Well, remember Carla and Ben, right? Our story. So, because we kind of skipped through a thing there of, well, lent the book out and like, oh, magic, well, how did it actually come to be? Well, after Ben returned the book to Carla, the two began talking more about favorite authors and then their mutual love of cats and their gripes about the engineering firm where they worked, all bonding topics. They also spent more time together outside of work. Carla invited Ben to a book reading because that's where things had gotten started. They took picnics to a nearby park. And then Carla got up her nerve and showed Ben some writing that she had done. He shared with her some personal problems he had been having. And lo and behold, Ben, a 75-year-old gynecologist, says that he always liked Carla. She was so cute, and that he remembers asking permission to take her newspaper. He just wants that on the record.
Well, that's why he was annoying. I mean, that's it, because they really liked each other and didn't realize it. And so he was being annoying to get her attention. That's what guys do.
He also says that getting to know her helped broaden his worldview. I had a lot of sense of myself for a few years, and she reminded me who I really am. You mean that when we connect with people who are different than us, that it helps us understand who we are better?
Yes.
Oh.
And it helps us get through the world.
Okay.
It's like my wife helps me get through crowds and going into awkward social places because she's an extrovert. And so when we need to do things with people, she helps me get out there. And when I get out there, I find that I generally have a better time than I thought I would, but I never would have gone if it was just me.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to that alone.
Right.
But I had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
But you also had somebody there who understood probably where your limits were at and maybe how far to push things, and could also probably pick up on when you were getting near the end of
the nonverbal clues that I had had enough.
Yeah. My enjoyment is now waning and I'm no longer having fun. So we probably shouldn't stay here a lot longer.
I usually have to stay at a wedding until the dancing starts, because I have to take her for one dance and then she'll agree to leave.
That's enough.
The wedding for me.
Well, and see, the other thing is learning expectations, right? Because spending that time together, for people who don't like surprises, learning how far you have to get in order to be able to get out of a thing is also helpful. Well, because it's easier to go through something if you know how it's going to end. For people that don't like surprises.
Typically, right? You get invited to a wedding because you know the people there. And then if you know them, then what are you expected to do? talk to them. Well, if you're an introvert, what's the last thing you want to do that you find enjoyable? Talking to people on turf that is not yours. So for me, going to weddings is like one of the hardest things to do. And I get invited to so many because I taught high school and the kids want me, students, former students.
They want you to be there.
They want me to be there and share this exciting day with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy for them. But they've asked me
I can be very happy for you not at your wedding. See, that's how well I know Lance. I didn't invite him because I knew that he'd enjoy not being there more than being there.
No, it was COVID.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I would have gone to your wedding and I would have enjoyed it because Brett and I enjoy teasing each other. So
yes.
It is fun to be around you guys.
Yes. But that was one of those introvert things where we came up with a good mutual excuse of, this is how we don't have to invite anybody. There's this pandemic going on and we can just say that.
We'll get married now and we're going to be safe for everybody. And so nobody has to come.
Because, we could each come up with about 10 people that we wanted there. And it's like, yeah, but if we invite them, then these people are going to be mad if they're not invited.
If they don't get there.
It's like, we don't really want them there. So it just, makes it easy.
Because that's true too. There have been some former students who got married and I didn't get an invitation. I'm like, well, I thought we were pretty close.
Right. I don't want to go, but I wanted to be invited.
But you didn't invite me. I mean, what kind of conundrum is that? God, I don't want to go. Oh, I should be going, I didn't get invited. But I'm like, I didn't get invited. I thought we were closer than that.
So we hinted at one other thing, talking about things that are getting on people's nerves. Well, something that's getting on old people's nerves are young people who are flashing their AARP cards.
Yeah, what's that about?
Wait a minute. You're telling me that I can get one of them? Is that what you're saying?
What's that millennial doing getting their 10% off?
Keep it here on The State of Us. We'll be right back. Some people absolutely dread receiving their AARP card in the mail. These young people, though, they can't wait. A rite of passage for those 50 and older, like some in present company, an AARP membership.
But I don't have one.
An AARP membership also is drawing younger folks determined to get discounts to cope with inflation. They shamelessly flash their cards at restaurants, often confusing the waitstaff and amazing and embarrassing their friends and family. Marissa Schwartz, 28, couldn't believe it when she saw a TikTok of someone in his 30s saying young people could join AARP. She went to AARP's website, realized it was legit. She paid $63 for a 5-year membership. Recently, Dr. Schwartz, who has a doctorate in philosophical literature, dined with a friend at Bonefish Grill, where children can draw on the paper tablecloths. Being kids at heart, they requested crayons. After spending part of dinner coloring and laughing, she handed her AARP card to an amused and shocked waitress as she requested the check. I can guarantee you, she Googled whether young people could join AARP after leaving the table, said Dr. Schwartz, who lives in New Jersey. She has since inspired her parents, Sherry Schwartz, 59, and Leon Schwartz, 61, to sign up for AARP. Our daughter is an old soul, Mr. Schwartz said. She now has the card to prove it.
There you go. Get your 10% off. I mean, any group and organization grows stronger with membership. So AARP broadens their membership. Now they can go to people and say, well, what will you give us? Because we have this many members, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't know that, right? I am not a card carrying member of AARP.
Despite your age.
Despite my age.
Or in spite of it.
Could have been a member. But you know what? I'm going to share this because this just happened this week. We went to a local pizza place and we got our food and our drink. And the young lady said, who waited on us, said, would you like your receipt? I said, sure, why not? Go back to the table, and I'm sitting there reading, waiting for our food to come. I got 10% off for being an old person. She didn't ask. And you know what? I wasn't offended. I'm like, yeah, that paid for one of the drinks.
Getting old isn't all bad.
I'm getting so old that they don't even ask me if I'm old. They just automatically give me the percentage off. And I was not offended.
You know, that's one of my father's favorite things when we go out to eat, you know. It doesn't happen very often anymore, which is kind of sad to me. Brett and I don't often get carded if we order a drink. But on the rare occasion that it does happen, then he'll look over at the waitress and be like, well, you didn't card me.
Right.
Yeah. And they, you know, they don't know what to do. It's like, oh God, you know, because I mean, you don't know this person, and it's like, oh, are they offended? Oh, geez, you know, that's what you get for not carding everybody. If you're gonna card one, you better card all. I'm gonna need to see everybody's ID.
Well, I was sitting in a restaurant the other night, and it said we card anybody under the age of 40.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what?
Anybody who appears under the age of 40.
Appears under the age of 40.
Yeah, I think Walmart's policy is similar. If you look at somebody and you're an employee of Walmart and you don't definitively know that they're older than 40 years old, you're supposed to card them.
Gotcha. So
I guess they feel like that's the safe. So are
you and Brett gonna apply for this AARP card?
I don't know. I mean,
you
know
get
that this was an option.
You get movie tickets. You get percentages off at restaurants. You can get cheaper flights. I mean, there's a lot of value in it. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not a socialite, so I don't socialize enough to get my money back.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I mean, it's kind of a good deal.
So,
and I have a AAA card, and a lot of times AAA gives you the same benefits, and there's no reason to pay double.
So full AARP membership, which includes discounts on items such as prescription eyewear and services such as food delivery, is available to people 50 and older for $12 a year with automatic renewal. But anyone 13 and older can join online and receive many of the same deals. As the AARP website states, it's never too early to sign up. An AARP spokeswoman said the organization is seeing a definite uptick in younger members, but won't share specific member demographic data. AARP said it had nearly 38 million members. Chris Hamer started going gray in his 30s, so getting an AARP card felt appropriate. Mr. Hamer, 45 and a member for about 2 years, sees his AARP card as a badge of honor. A play-by-play radio and television announcer who lives in Lillington, North Carolina, says that he especially enjoys the hotel discounts that he said typically save him $5 to $20 per night. The savings have come at somewhat of a social cost. When he told his wife, Jessie, he had joined AARP, she rolled her eyes.
And see, that's why I guess I never have, because when we do travel and stay in hotels, they say, do you have AAA or an AARP card? Well, I already had AAA. And I said, well, will you double it? Well, no, you get one or the other. Well, so I'm carrying the one. There's no reason to get the other one.
I don't want both of these darn things.
Well, yeah, but if you qualify for both of them, shouldn't you get it twice? I mean, he is right. You know, you get somewhere between $5 to $10% off the cost of the room with the card, which if it's $12 a year and you stay in 2 different hotels, you've already made your money back with 2 nights of a stay. And if you incorporate a dinner with it where you get 10% off, and then you get 10% off your rental car, you've more than paid for the annual cost of the card in one trip.
I'm on AARP's website right now looking at, you know, what their options are, and we require your birth date for eligibility, so I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I'm going to put that, well, I mean, Lance knows, but I'm going to put that in there. I'm not going to tell our listeners because that would be disclosing more than needs to be disclosed. So,
and what's the best deal? Because I see 3 different levels there.
Yeah.
1 year is $12.
So why do they want a spouse membership fee includes a spouse or partner for free? Whoa, well, in that case, spouse or partner. So apparently so you can get a 2 for, you live with somebody's a bit better.
You're getting a 2 for, right.
Yeah. So, okay, we're just putting that in
We've talked about, living with somebody's better for you economically anyway.
That's right.
Here's another advantage. If you live with somebody, you get a free AARP card.
That's right. You can have an AARP card. Okay, so I put in all this. Select your membership term.
No, wait a minute. Wait. 1 year is 12.
Yep.
3 years is 43, which would be $14 a year. 5 years is 63, which would be a little more than 12. So there's no advantage in getting, or do you get more?
Well, you save 21% a year if you do the 5 years. You save 10% for 3 years, or you save 25% for 1 year. The problem would be that if you're going to keep it more than 1 year, then you're going to renew at the $16. So if you're going to keep it a long time, you want the 5-year deal.
Oh, so it's a one-time savings of $12.
Yes.
Then the second year bumps up to 16.
Yeah, no, you don't get that.
I don't get it for 12 every year.
Yeah, your introductory term and automatic renewal is 1 year. Okay, so if I purchase a 5-year membership, so here are just a few of your AARP membership benefits, and I'm a late 20s millennial. Discounts on prescription medications and up to 30% off prescription eyewear. Vacation planning tips, guides, and exclusive discounts when you're ready to travel again. Everyday savings on shopping, food delivery services, restaurants, and more. Fraud prevention, free scam alerts, a helpline and tips to help you avoid consumer fraud and identity theft. And advocacy, a committed advocate for important issues like Social Security and Medicare.
Sure, it's $12 a year. One night out. I mean, all you have to do is go to one restaurant that they cover.
Can you save $12 a year with this?
Stay in a hotel for one night.
Yeah.
And you made it. Yes.
Yeah. Because I think they said the average hotel discount is $10 to $25 a night. So if you stayed at 2 hotels where you got an AARP
or if you stayed
discount,
2 nights.
Right.
If you had one stay, if you had one weekend where you spent a Friday and Saturday night,
it paid for itself plus saved you. So, okay. So there we just did a plug for not sponsored by AARP. But so why do we have this conversation today, Lance? We're advocating for AARP. Do you know what AARP stands for, by the way? Just a quick plug here for
the Association for the Advancement of Retired People.
The American Association of Retired Persons. So you might say, well, why do they let young people join? Because they want the money. Just because you're young doesn't mean that you can't be part of advocating for old people. You can join AARP. So why do we have this again today?
Well, because True Chat has a mission, and it is to educate people by providing honest, open, and respectful conversations. And the main part of the show was about how to deal with people that annoy you. Notice how I said that the correct way. And I learned lots, and hopefully you did too. And if you're not one of those old people, I'm an old person who doesn't have an AARP card, but you found out it doesn't matter what age you are, you too can enjoy the benefits. So send the extra savings our way here at True Chat because we could use the money. But if you like the show, you can find us on Spotify, Overcast, Stitcher. Obviously, you found us. But if you're talking to somebody who didn't find us and they want to listen, Spotify, Overcast, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found is the way you can listen to this show and send us your extra savings.
We release new episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays of The State of Us as a podcast, first thing in the mornings. Those same episodes can be heard on the weekends on select AM and FM radio stations across the United States and parts of Canada. For The State of Us, I'm Justin T. Weller.
I'm Lance Jackson.
Special thanks to Bradley Butch. Do you have an AARP card yet, Bradley? And thank you to our audience for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Be the change. Be sure to check out our website, thestateofus.org, for books, articles, and all the ways to tune in. thestateofus.org.